What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John. We're in the garage. We had a good weekend of racing. We went a personal best by a little bit, just a little bit. Mile per hour was actually a little bit less. We actually turned the boost down on the big end, but we got faster through the middle, so we ended up going a personal best. We got into the third round, though. We got a bear. We ended up having to race a bear. Ended up being the class winner of the weekend. I think it's a big block pro-charged Camaro. Really nice car, really nice folks. Car was really fast, and so I think I got out on him a little bit. I think I had a little bit better light, and when you look at the GoPro from the side, he was probably fixing to start trying to reel me in a little bit, but my car was going left, and so I had to lift. Now, we were pretty close to the finish line. I don't know if he'd been able to catch me or not. It would have been a heck of a drag race to the finish line if I would not have had to lift. We were fighting it going left all day, and I'm gonna show you a video. I got a couple videos here, and this is from the race. When the car takes off, it tracks right initially, and then it hooks back to the left almost every single time. And so we were fighting it with rear steer, and you know, me and Mike's like, you know, it's hard, right? You hear the tractor analogy all the time. The tractor analogy is right. It is correct. It is 100% correct with rear steer. And, you know, I've had a couple people that, you know, when we made a change last week, they, you know, said I did it wrong, but the car got better. But so let me show you what we're talking about real fast. Tractor analogy is right as long as the front wheels are on the ground. That's the key thing. Check it out. Comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all want to support the channel, go to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, so it is now Veterans Day. We're actually off from work. Appreciate all the veterans that have served, everybody that's in the military. It's awesome, guys. We can do what we love to do. Lots of good racing buddies that are veterans. Appreciate all their service. Got the car back to the house yesterday. Got it unloaded, jacked up. Worked on it some yesterday. Didn't record any yesterday. I'm going to show you what we found. So let's go back here. I got my little handy-dandy piece of paper here. I don't use, you know, using notes is probably a good thing. I don't use it a ton, which is sometimes that way you get in trouble. So let's take a look here. So looking at from the back of the car. So it's still got the slicks on it right now. I've already changed the bar angles. We're going radial racing this weekend. But when I measure, so this is the old way. This is the way it was when I first got here. So I say old, but this is the way it come in off the trailer. So front of the car is up there, so I'm standing behind the car right here. We got these measurements. We got the wheels over here. You can see the wheels were offset just a little bit to the left over here by 7/16 of an inch. That's the wishbone, so I got that squared back up. Don't know how that changed. I guess when you're changing bar angles and moving stuff around, you know, it changes. And 7/16 of an inch is not a lot, so that's probably not what it is. So we got these two numbers over here. The one on the left, we got 12 and 9/16, and then 12 and 3/8. So, and where I measure it from, you got to get a good spot. Make sure you're consistent. But this spot right here is consistent on the car. Now, some cars change. Some cars, man, look how shiny that paint is. Jim and Randy, RJ's, they got this thing glossed up, son. It is crazy. So that's where I measured it. So the rear end, 12 and 9/16 on the left side, and then 12 and 3/8 on that side on the right. So it's pushed back. When you do that math, what is that? 3/16 of an inch or so. It's pushed back 3/16 inch, maybe a 1/4 inch on this side over here. So this wheel is slid back. Now remember the first pass. So the very first pass, that's the one I'm gonna show you in the video here. The car, this one was actually slid up more, about, it was 2 flats more forward, so forward on this side. So that is rear steer. So rear steer, we cocked the rear end sideways in the car. So we cocked it sideways, and that should make the car go right, as long as the front wheels are on the ground. And if you notice, what happened on that video that you just saw, the one I just showed you, the car kind of took off a little bit, going straight to the right. Front wheels were on the ground. And then when the power comes in, that's the front right wheel. The front left wheel kind of bobbles the whole time. The front right wheel comes off the ground. And when the front right tire comes off the ground, the rear end is now pointed to the left. So the rear end is in here like this, right? I'm exaggerating. It's not much. But so the rear end is like this. So it's going to drive to the right as long as the front wheels are on the ground. But when the front wheel comes off the ground, what does it do? What happens? What's the natural? What's it going to do? It's going to go left, and it's going to go left hard. And that's exactly what happened. And Uncle Mike, when we were talking about it, and we were talking about rear steer, and you know, he was like, dude, he's like, I think the rear end, we need to take the rear steer out of it. And I was like, but Mike, the car is going left. We need to put rear steer in it. And he was like, but the front wheels are barely on the ground, or if they're bobbling, then, you know, it's not, you can't steer the car. And he's exactly right. That's exactly what is happening, I think. So now, I reset it. So now the new, basically all I did is I did not touch the left one at all. And you see that it was the 11 and 9/16 is actually with the rear end hanging. And so the rear end, you have an arc, right? So it's an arc. So when it was sitting at ride height on the ground is actually when I got the 12 and 9/16. So with the car jacked up, with the rear end hanging where it's at, it was 11 and 9/16 and 11 and 3/8. So it stayed the same. So now all I did is on the right one here, I ended up lengthening this one. I think I went 3 flats or 4 flats. And basically I did the upper bar and the top bar. You got to do both. You can't do just one. So I did the upper bar and the top bar, lengthened it, and now this is our setting. So now we're 11.5 with the rear end hanging. And you know what's interesting is it moves it, right? So we don't, like I said, we only moved the right side, but the left one changed as well. So you can see the difference there. So I think we're in good shape now. So that is rear steer explained. Kind of, you know, that's kind of big deal though, guys. I mean, we've been fighting it. We fought it for two weeks, and we made it better. And then I reset it last week, and I thought I had squared it up, but maybe I was still trying to keep rear steer in my head that the wheels were on the ground. So we're going to try it again. We're going this weekend, like I said, we're going to radials. We may go test it Thursday night. I think Joey is planning to test his on Thursday night at Galot. I was not planning on taking mine. I don't know if Mike's taking his or not, so he may be taking to test his as well. But this is the way it works, guys. We think everything's good under there. Got the anti-roll bar link undone. We basically, to go to radials, all we did is the lower bar is now in the very bottom hole on there. And so we're going to take the weight out of the car. Got a few things to do to make it so that it's more radial friendly. So I think we're going to be in good shape though. So I hope, you know, I hate that we didn't make the changes when we were in that final round. I got the boost out there. I basically gave it more boost at the spot where I had to lift. And so apparently the front wheels come off the ground enough to where I couldn't steer the car, and that's why it went left. And that's why I had to lift. It is what it is. That's racing. That's part of it. We're learning. You can't win them all. You want to go out there and do your best you can. And we did. We had a good time. All right, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe. I just wanted to go over that rear steer a little bit. And it's not always can it opposite than you think. That's true if the wheels are on the ground. If the wheels are off the ground, that's not true. Later, guys.